2025 protein bar review. You may remember my previous video of protein bars that you can commonly find in store. I actually filmed that back in 2023. And so a lot has changed in food science and a lot has changed when it comes to protein bars. So I thought it's time to do a revision and talk about the topic again. In this video, we're not just gonna be focusing on protein bars that you can commonly find in store. We're gonna be talking about 15 of, in my opinion, the best protein bars or the most sought after protein bars on the market. So we're gonna go through each protein bar. We're gonna talk a lot about macros. We're gonna talk a lot about taste and a little bit about ingredients while eating each of these 15 protein bars. First protein bar that we're looking at is Power Crunch. This came out in 1996 and it stole my heart. As a college student, I used to buy them at Wegmans. I thought they tasted awesome. One thing to keep in mind when we review all these products today, from flavor to flavor, the macros differ slightly. Looking at the macros on Power Crunch, 13 grams of protein, 250 calories. Remember, we took the grams of protein, we add a zero to it. In this case, we've got 13, a zero to it is 130. Does it have that many calories or less? This, in fact, has more calories than that, so it does not pass our protein test. It only has 1 gram of fiber. We don't love that. It's got 13 grams of fat, 7 grams of saturated fat. This is not a lean protein source. The ingredients on it are decent. We'll talk about ingredients in more depth later. Let's try out Power Crunch. We've got the peanut butter fudge here. It's like eating a peanut butter fudge wafer. Of course, the macros aren't gonna be good because this thing is fucking delicious. Another 90s protein bar, we've got Pure Protein as the second protein bar we're looking at. 200 calories, 20 grams of protein. This passes our protein test. This has 1 gram of fiber. Again, we don't love that. 7 grams of fat, 3 grams of saturated fat. This is technically a lean protein source. Lean protein sources have 10 grams or less of total fat and less than 4 grams of saturated fat per serving. This has 6 grams of alcohol sugar. The protein comes from a whey protein concentrate, a milk protein isolate. There's a little bit of collagen. We'll talk about that later, but it's fine. Let's try this bad boy out, see how it tastes. You can get this everywhere, Target. You can get this at Costco. This product is all over the place. Okay, honestly, this has never been my thing when it comes to taste, but a lot of people enjoy it. Taste preferences vary from person to person. Very good macros, good ingredients. It's not my thing when it comes to taste, but it's still a really good tasting protein bar. My name's Jacob Zemer, and yes, this is a commercial in the middle of your YouTube. I'm gonna take 45 seconds to tell you about my coaching program. I've helped thousands of people with real lives lose real weight. You can go to jacobzemer.com to learn more. There are 4 major tenets of my coaching program. The first is that we give you macros. It's calories, protein, and fiber. That's all we're concerned about, along with custom meal templates. We also are going to build you a custom program on my app. My app includes over 1,000 videos. So regardless what space you have or what goals you have, my app can help you train better. We also are gonna create a cardiovascular program for you on the app as well, along with step goals. And fourth, you're gonna go see your doctor, you're gonna get your labs done, and we're gonna walk you through the proper preventative health based on your family history. This is my coaching program that's helped thousands of people get in the best shape of their life. Next up, we have Quest protein bars. This came out in 2010. Man, I feel old. I remember when these suckers came out, they revolutionized the protein game. People had never had a protein bar that tasted so good. People thought they were relying on the macros. Today, everybody rips on the taste because food science has advanced so far, everybody thinks the texture is just too stiff. But I still appreciate this protein bar. I think it changed the game. 190 calories, 20 grams of protein, passes our protein test. 11 grams of fiber, another game changer about this bar, a lot of fiber. It is a lean protein source. It uses erythritol, uses stevia for sweetening agents. It has a protein blend that's all bioavailable. All the protein in this bar is bioavailable. And then polydextrose is how they get the fiber in here. This is an awesome bar with awesome ingredients, in my opinion. It does have some seed oils, but we'll talk about that later. We're trying the chocolate peanut butter. I still think the taste of this is phenomenal. I like it more than the Pure Protein bar that we just had. Some people, it's too stiff for them. Just make sure you heat it up for 10 seconds. It'll taste even better. Great macros, great ingredients, great taste in my opinion. Our fourth protein bar of the day, we're looking at Fit Crunch. This came out in 2012. The taste of this, very much like a candy bar. People go nuts for the taste, and I get it. However, macros, 190 calories, 16 grams of protein, doesn't pass our protein test, don't love that. It only has 1 gram of fiber, again, don't love that. It has 8 grams of fat, narrowly making it a lean protein source. I just don't think the macros are up to snuff on this bar, especially in 2025. Looking at the ingredients, we have a protein blend, whey isolate, whey concentrate, soy protein isolate. That means not all the protein is bioavailable. In fact, of the 16 grams, only 12 of them are bioavailable. For that reason, the ingredients are a hard pass for me. Let's give it a taste. Of any of the protein bars that we've had today, only the Power Crunch is better, and both of those protein bars, the macros just aren't stellar. This is a really good tasting protein bar with bad ingredients and suboptimal macros. Cliff Builders Protein, this is from the maker of Cliff Bars, which came out over 30 years ago. 1992, years later, they released their protein bar. 280 calories, 20 grams of protein, doesn't pass our protein test. And in fact, just like the original Cliff Bar, this isn't a protein bar. Most of the calories are coming from carbohydrates and from fat instead of from actual protein. 4 grams of fiber, I do like that. 9 grams of fat, but 6 grams of saturated fat. It's not a lean protein source. Looking at ingredients, we've got soy protein isolate. However, all the protein in here is bioavailable, so we do like that. This has sunflower seed oil, soybean oil. Let's talk about seed oils. When you have a lot of processed food in your diet, most Americans are eating 70, 80% of their food in processed food. A lot of seed oils, it can become problematic because it's a polyunsaturated fat. So high amounts of polyunsaturated fat, which are omega-6s, can throw off your ratio to omega-3s. But unless you're having a lot of processed food, it's not problematic to have some seed oil in your diet. So I would not be concerned about the ingredients on this so much as I'm concerned about the macros. I've got the Oreo flavor. Let's try this bad boy out. I'm actually excited to try this flavor. I've always liked these protein bars. The Oreo flavor is the bomb, but the macros, again, for that reason, I would not be going with this because this is more of a carb and fat bar than it is actually a protein bar. Coming in at number 6, we have Think High Protein. This product originally came out in 1999. It was called Think Thin. For obvious reasons, that name got canceled, so they relaunched the product with a rebranding in 2019, and now it's called Think, and this is their high protein version of the protein bar. They have other ones that simply have worse macros. Let's check out the macros on this one. It's 240 calories, 20 grams of protein, does not pass our protein test. It only has 1 gram of fiber, so not much fiber at all. 10 grams of fat, which means it's not a lean protein source, doesn't pass our protein test, isn't a lean source of protein, barely any fiber. The macros on this suck. The ingredients are fine. However, again, the macros suck. Let's try this out. Oh my God. Not even worth it. No way. Shit macros, shit taste, skip it. Next up, we're looking at One Protein Bar. I got these at Wegmans, but I've seen them at grocery stores and convenience stores across America. Just be mindful to look at the back of the label because some of the macros on these suck and on others, they're incredible. Case in point, blueberry cobbler here, 210 calories, 20 grams of protein, narrowly misses our protein test, 7 grams of fiber, 6 grams of fat. It's a good macros on this protein bar, but when you compare it to the Hershey's, 230 calories, 18 grams of protein, nowhere near our protein test, 5 grams of fiber, 7 grams of saturated fat. Again, some of the candy bar-esque remakes on the One Protein bars, the macros aren't that good. So look at the back of the label. Let's give this a try. We're gonna try the Hershey's bar. The taste on these, a lot of them I really love. So just be mindful, as we talked about in the beginning, they can vary bar from bar, the flavors, the macros, taste, all that. In general, I really do like the taste of One Protein bars. Next up, we have Barebells. It's a Swedish company that launched in 2016 and made their way over to the States in 2020, first being introduced at Trader Joe's. Since then, they have risen to meteoric heights because, in my opinion and the opinion of my clients, this is the best tasting protein bar on the market. Let's look at the macros. 200 calories, 20 grams of protein, narrowly passes our protein test. 3 grams of fiber, not bad. 7 grams of fat is a lean protein source. However, one thing to be mindful of the ingredients, it uses collagen. So not all of the protein is bioavailable, and it varies from flavor to flavor how much of the protein is bioavailable. Simply look at the percentile next to the protein to determine the PDCAA score of the protein. Let's try this out. Chocolate dough. Candy bar level taste, excellent macros. This is a winner in my opinion. Next up we have Built. This is a company based out of Utah. They originally came out with the Built Bar. The issue with the Built Bar is the company could not make it profitable. The margins were too harsh on it, and when they would innovate and try unique flavors, they would sell, but they could not profit off the bar. So now eventually they have moved to Built Puffs, which are different than the bar. If we were talking about the bar, I'd have very positive things to say. However, they've since stopped producing the bar and only produce puffs at this time. The problem with the puffs is it uses collagen, so none of the protein in here is bioavailable. That means the macros suck, that means the ingredients suck, that means this bar sucks, even though it tastes delicious. It's cookie dough chunk. We'll try it, even though I know it tastes stellar. I actually think it's even better than the Barebells, in my opinion. Yeah. I said Barebells is the best tasting protein bar because Barebells is actually a protein bar. This is not a protein bar because collagen does not achieve muscle protein synthesis. They don't even claim to be a high protein food because they don't put the percentile next to the protein in this food. Again, this is not a protein bar. If it was, it would be awesome, but it's not. Next up, we have Anabar. This is more of a protein dessert than it is actually a protein bar. The name is based on a pun around a PED. It's really part of meathead culture, but I wanted to include it because people have a deep passion for this product, and I've tried it before. It tastes delicious. The reason that it's a protein dessert, 290 calories, 20 grams of protein, nowhere close to hitting our protein test, and also because only about 75% of the protein is a complete protein source. It's got 21 grams of sugar. Again, it's a protein dessert. Only 2 grams of fiber, 11 grams of fat. It's not a lean protein source. And again, for those reasons, this is a protein dessert, not a protein bar. We're gonna try the s'more flavor, see how it tastes. Oh man, look at that. That looks really, really cool. Wow. Yeah, I mean, of anything I've tasted so far today, this tastes the best. But again, I wouldn't classify this as a protein bar, Anabar. Next up's Grenade. This is made in the UK. So I had to put in some work to get a hold of it. It has a cult-like following. So I went on Amazon. It was grossly overpriced. I actually used a company called Viking Nutrition to get a hold of it. The one thing about this product is based on the flavor, the calories, macros differ significantly. We're gonna be looking at the Oreo today. And the nutrition label is different because, again, this is made in the UK. 250 calories, 21 grams of protein, doesn't pass our protein test, 10 grams of fiber, it's high in fat, and then it has 1 gram of fiber, so don't love the macros on this bad boy. It does have collagen, and because this is made in the UK, they don't have to say the percentile of the protein that's bioavailable. I'm gonna try both the Oreo and the cookie dough because I'm really curious about this product. I think in taste, it's one step down from Barebells, which is pretty good considering the macros. But if I was in the United States, I wouldn't go through the effort to get this protein bar. David Protein Bar, man, this thing has had some controversy. It's from the creator of the RX bars. The macros on it are stellar. I had to do a deep dive to understand how low the calories were because they didn't quite make sense when you look at the macros. And I also had to do a deep dive to understand how all the protein is bioavailable because they do use collagen. So this is extreme innovation in the food science department. Also, they use a fat called EPG. They bought the company that had the proprietary creation of that fermented fat and then stopped selling it to all of its competitors. So a lot of controversy, a lot of interesting things going on with David Protein Bar. The macros on it are insane. 150 calories, 28 grams of protein, obliterates the protein test. We've got only 2 grams of fat total. I don't love the fiber. That's the one shortcoming of this. Let's see how it tastes. we've got salted peanut butter flavored bar. My wife loves the taste of these. To me, this is a mid-tasting protein bar. But again, when it simply comes to macros, this thing is a freaking game changer and a true innovation in food science. Protein bar by Legion. I had to order this directly from the website. I've had their cereal, I've had their protein powder. They make good products, but you do have to order it directly from them. 240 calories, 20 grams of protein, does not pass our protein test. However, 9 grams of fiber, we really, really like that. What we don't like is 12 grams of total fat. This is not a lean protein source. So the macros are, yeah. When looking at the ingredients, protein concentrate, milk protein isolate, all awesome. Soluble tapioca fiber, that's where all the fiber is coming from. We got dark chocolate in here, it's 69%, we'd rather see 70%. Overall, good macros in this protein bar. Let's give it a taste. This is the cookie dough flavor. Oh God. Oh my God. Okay, it's really not that bad to taste, but man, this is even stiffer than a Quest protein bar with less taste. This is like a hard pass for me. Again, macros are decent, taste is horrible, ingredients good. No way for Legion. And now for our 14th bar of the day, we have got Phorm. This is their level 1 bar. It was released in 2018. And this is mostly like a meathead product. You're gonna find this at Vitamin Shop, GNC, supplement shops, places like that. 260 calories, 20 grams of protein. Again, we're like floating in that area where this is more of like a protein dessert than it is actually a protein bar. 1 gram of fiber. It has less sugar, but it does have 13 grams of fat, so this is not a lean protein source. 6 grams of saturated fat. It's a lot of fat in this bar. In fact, there's more fat in this bar than there's actually protein. Let's give it a taste. It's the Peanut Butter Lovers. Oh, it looks cool. Wow, that is peanut butter. It's got a really good taste. It's on the higher end of the taste. Again, the macros are eh. For me, when I'm having a protein bar, I want protein and a good taste. This is a good taste with a moderate source of protein. So this is a hard pass for me, but really the taste, very peanut buttery. And our final protein bar of the day, we have Redcon's MRE Bar. It stands for Meal Ready to Eat. The gimmick behind this thing is that all of the protein is coming from real foods. So we'll flip it around, we'll look at ingredients first. Protein blend, beef protein isolate, pea protein, brown rice protein, chicken protein, egg, salmon, yada, yada, yada. All 20 grams of the protein is bioavailable, which is awesome. However, it's 260 calories with 20 grams of protein. Does not pass our protein test. It's got 3 grams of fiber. We like that. Interesting gimmick. I've got the German chocolate cake in front of me. I love German chocolate cake. So let's see how it holds up on the taste department. It's not as bad as the other ones I spit out. It's just, like really, I've had a lot of protein bars at this point. If it doesn't fucking taste good, I'm not gonna bother. Not worth it in taste, not worth it in macros. Interesting gimmick with the ingredients, but our best. We looked at 15 protein bars today. Here are my top 5. At number 5, we have Pure Protein. This bar came out 30 years ago, and it still stands up. Good on macros, good on taste, a lot of unique flavors, and it's at a ton of different stores. Number 4, One Protein Bar. My one gripe with this bar, the macros differ significantly from bar to bar. So make sure that you look at the back of the flavor you're interested in buying. However, most of them pass the protein test. They all are a really good source of fiber. This is a great tasting protein bar. Number 3, Quest Protein Bar. When this thing came out, it revolutionized the protein bar game. People can complain about the texture, saying that it's stiff today. However, it still really stands up as a good tasting protein bar with incredible macros. Number 2, David. This is really hit or miss for people. Some people love the taste of it. Some people can't stand the taste of it. However, no one can deny the macros and no one can deny that it is the most innovative protein bar that's came out since Quest protein bars. And number 1, Barebells. Everyone, I mean, everyone loves this protein bar. I've met very few people that do not enjoy Barebell, including myself, but I think it is the best tasting, strictly speaking, protein bar on the market. It also has excellent macros. So for that reason, Barebell is my #1 protein bar of 2025. If you like what you saw today, we put out long format content each and every single week here on YouTube. We go to the grocery store, we go see the doctor, we weight train, we talk about all things health, nutrition, and fitness on this channel. My name is Jacob Ziemer. I've helped thousands of people get in the best shape of their life. If you're interested in learning more about me and the services that I offer, you can go to jacobziemer.com. You can look into my coaching program, my app, ebooks, etc. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you like what you saw today. I hope you hit subscribe. Have a wonderful day. I hope you walk away knowing more about protein bars than you did before.